From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is Prime with Linsey Davis.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Linsey Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We are just back from the flood zone in Texas's Hill Country, where 1 to 3 more inches of rain are expected tonight as the painstaking search for the missing continues. And tonight, a new flash flood emergency is unfolding in New Mexico. A powerful wall of water swept through a mountain village there. The river rising 20 feet in just 30 minutes. At least 3 people were killed. Intense currents ripped homes off of their foundations. Dozens of water rescues reported. The governor of New Mexico declaring a state of emergency. Roughly 500 miles away in Texas, search and rescue teams are now in their 6th day, and time is running out to find any survivors. At least 170 people are still missing. This comes as we're hearing more harrowing stories of survival as that unforgiving flood of water rushed through, and our team continues to see the generosity of complete strangers firsthand, stepping up to help those in need. We'll have the concerning forecast for more rain in Hill Country in a moment. But first, our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, has more on that latest flash flooding emergency and the search for the missing in Texas. Hi, Matt.
Linsey, I want to give you a sense of what it's like for search and recovery teams, because that's what it is right now out here. They have vowed to find the remains of every single one of the 170 plus people who remain unaccounted for, but they're going to have to be combing through debris like this, not just here, but along the entirety of the Guadalupe River, all the way to Canyon Lake, its terminus, 125 river miles away. They say it'll take as long as it takes, even if it's months. That, as we see this additional flash flood emergency in New Mexico, also ripping through a community, even taking houses downstream.
A long night ahead for residents of Ruidoso, New Mexico, after a ferocious and deadly wall of water blasted through the streets. At least 3 people killed when the banks of the Rio Ruidoso River outside Albuquerque rose a record 20 feet in just 30 minutes. A young soldier and father of 2 stationed at Fort Bliss, Texas, was on vacation with his family at a campground when they were swept away in those raging floodwaters. He and his wife were found safe, but their 4-year-old daughter and their 7-year-old son did not survive.
Oh my God, they just pulled somebody out.
Oh no.
This home ripped from its foundation and sent smashing downhill. Crews today combing through the debris left behind. That horror in New Mexico comes just days after those devastating floods 500 miles away in Texas, where recovery teams in Kerrville are scouring riverbeds for a 6th day. At least 170 people still unaccounted for after that catastrophic July 4th flash flood killed at least 119 people. Dispatch audio exclusively obtained by our affiliate KSAT details emergency crews' initial response to the devastating floods here.
We still have water coming up. The Guadalupe Shoemaker sign is now underwater on Highway 39. Is there any way we can send a code red out to our Hunt residents asking them to find higher ground or stay home?
Lindsay Roberson and her teenage son Jack swept from their home into those roiling waters.
The next thing I saw coming for me was a house, and I don't even know how it all happened.
Lindsay spoke to me from her hospital bed recovering from surgery.
But I went under, and it was like being in a washing machine, just flipping around under the water.
She fought to the surface, but debris also pelting her son. They were separated. Then both Jack and his mom grabbing onto trees.
There's boats and helicopters coming. What? I am. I can climb higher, but I'm okay. Are you high? Mom, are you in a tree? There's boats coming.
They weren't boats, but cars floating by. Lindsay grateful Jack was okay.
Because I don't think there's a word that describes the overwhelming, oh my God, there's my baby and he's alive. Thank God he's alive. He's alive. He's alive.
And in a remarkable turn, Lindsay's 2 daughters were at Camp Mystic, where so many little girls were lost. Like their cousins, Eloise and Georgia Jones, they survived.
It was like unlivable. And that's when we got news that people had vanished from their cabins, and that's when we realized like truly something was terrible happened.
We're not running, we're not going to hide from everything.
Officials here grilled about the county's lack of answers about warning systems in a region nicknamed Flash Flood Alley.
Those are important questions. We will answer those questions. I wish y'all would bear with me in that.
ABC News learning Kerr County commissioners discussed some sort of a flood warning system 20 times just since 2016. And finally, in April, authorizing a contract worth up to $73,000 to develop a system. Councilmember Ray Howard fuming.
That just blows me away. That's unfathomable that it never worked on it. This is lives. This is people's. This is families. This is heartbreaking.
And just 20 miles downriver from here in Comfort, Texas, they have sirens and test them every day at noon.
Every day at noon, that siren goes off, alerting people that the system is working.
Authorities say those sirens save lives. And back upriver tonight, we're learning more about those families lost here.
Water just started coming like super fast.
Leo Romero Jr. turns 19 today. He watched his father, stepmother, and his 2-year-old brother ripped away from their home.
I don't want to say I accepted it, but no, I thought I was going to die.
His father, Leo, remembered for having the sweetest smile. Leo's wife, Natalia, as the kindest living soul, and Carlos as a sweet little boy who loved to play, smile, and laugh.
Those lives gone too soon. Matt joins us now from Kerrville, Texas. And Matt, we hear that Texas Governor Greg Abbott a short time ago called for a special state legislative session. Why so?
It's expected to happen in about 2 weeks, Lindsay, but there are basically two reasons for it. The first is what he's saying, that the state needs to fine-tune its flood preparation and relief system. The second is the enormous amount of pressure behind the scenes by locals, by other politicians on the state and on county officials to get something started. Was the alert system adequate? Did they do enough? And we've met with so many people here who are saying, no, where are the sirens? Where are the other systems? In fact, one local councilman told me that he calls the fact that the county commission had 20 meetings in which they discussed some sort of flood warning system, but did nothing about it just over the last 9 years. He said that is just negligence, Lindsay.
And Matt, as we stated, at least 170 people are still unaccounted for, nearly all of them from the county you're reporting from. What's making the recovery effort so difficult?
Part of it is the terrain. I mean, I want you to see this gravel behind me. You can see how that debris is packed under the bridge. And the concern is that the water was so high, literally 30-some feet above where I'm standing right now, that it swept human remains all the way downriver to a place called Canyon Lake, which is about 125 river miles away. The other issue is that there were so many people, and this densely populated area right around the river was so severely impacted that at this point, law enforcement officials are still trying to make heads and tails of who is accounted for. And today, they actually made a plea to the public. Listen, if you found your loved one, or if your loved one that you announced or told us was missing has somehow turned up, please let us know. We need to cross those people off the list. So still a lot of confusion down here on the ground in Texas, Lindsay.
Matt, we thank you so much for your hard work, difficult work. Really appreciate it. Scattered storms are returning tonight to Hill County in Texas. Let's bring in ABC's chief meteorologist, Ginger Z, who's tracking it all for us once again. Hi, Ginger.
Hey, Lindsay, this is not the image you want to see. I know you were just there, but the radar does have some storms, heavy at times. There's even a flash flood warning well north of Kerrville, so you can see it there over Brady. These storms are sinking south and could bring 1 to 3 inches, falling quickly, so we're keeping an eye on that. We will dry out more Thursday and Friday before more rain for the weekend for the hill country. Now let's go to Ruidoso, which we know had big time problems yesterday, and they're still in a flood watch because through tonight you still have that cell on the Futurecast that comes through. An inch or two on a swollen river, no good. And on that burn scar. Let's go to the east because Washington, D.C. was recently in that flash flood warning in the middle of that line that has already knocked down trees all the way through Virginia. Delaware, New Jersey, parts of Pennsylvania, including Philadelphia, have the severe thunderstorm watch until midnight tonight. That's when that line will finally move off completely. But see how the flood watch goes all the way down into North Carolina? It includes Durham. They just had all that rain and that bad flash flooding from Chantal. And now we find ourselves there in a level 3 out of 4 for significant flash flooding. So we're watching a lot of pockets of very, very heavy rain across the country. Lindsay?
All right, Ginger Z for us. Thanks so much, Ginger. The need is so great in Texas. Organizations from all over the country, in fact, the world, are there helping. We, of course, saw it with our own eyes over the past few days. Our team that's still on the ground there caught up with a Southern Texas church that's trying to pitch in to help those who are struggling however they can.
People are dealing with something here that very few people ever will have to deal with. There's been tremendous loss, there's been complete devastation, and people need support in times like this.
A little warm on that side, a little warm.
Muy Grande Ministries is a 501c3 organization out of Freer, Texas, deep down in South Texas. And we do exactly what we're doing here today.
The Lord told us to fill up and come.
When something like this happens, a complete disaster like this, we try to do whatever we can to help meet the needs of the people according to God's word.
Did you need water, Gatorade, gloves, anything? Any water, Gatorade, trash bags, hampers?
And this is just one way that we're able to show that love for our brothers and sisters across Texas by doing this.
Supplies, water, rags.
We made an announcement Sunday night, actually, at our church service. We had a tremendous outpouring just from our congregation, and just by word of mouth, people started finding out what we were doing. So you see the Gatorades and the diapers and everything that have been given. People were very eager to help in any way and manner that they could. So we literally gathered everything up within a 48-hour period. It's a very unique situation where the tremendous outpouring of love from the community and the whole world basically has congregated here to help meet the needs of the people. We're hoping to be able to come back in a few weeks when things quiet down a little bit and people are still trying to do the cleanup and trying to find some sense of normalcy, just try to restore some joy and some peace into their lives.
So heartwarming to see so many people come together supporting each other in these difficult times for so many families. Our next guest is part of an organization not only assisting in the rescue efforts in Texas, but also providing much needed emotional support to the families impacted by these deadly floods. Joining us now is Chaplain Tony Dickey with the United Cajun Navy. Chaplain Dickey, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time tonight. I see you holding a teddy bear. Let's start out with the significance of the teddy bear.
It's actually a weighted therapeutic comfort cub that we bring to the disasters with us. My comfort cub's name is Hope, because whenever you take Hope and you hold and hug it, it activates the neurotransmitters in the brain to release chemicals that helps with grief and depression and helps with that emotional trauma they're going through. And hope is what we give these people as we come. Our hope is in Christ. We bring that hope with us.
So many people in need of those cubs like Hope. And we just heard a volunteer say there in Texas that you're just trying to help bring some joy and peace into the lives of those affected. I know that you've been on the ground there for several days now, trying to do the same. How do you go about bringing comfort to these families in such a hard moment? And in particular, I know with the Cajun Navy, they were saying some of the K-9 rescuers we were out with yesterday said as soon as they find a body, in particular a small child, the chaplain often comes in to comfort the family. What do you say?
That's what we do as a chaplain for the United Cajun Navy and also for the Alabama Association of Rescue Squads. We've had 5 Alabama residents that are fatalities, and 4 of them are still missing. We come in, we hold them, we cry with them, and we do whatever we can to give them what little comfort we can. Because if you're one of those rescuers, you want to find everybody. Your mission is to bring that loved one home, but you do not want to be the one to pull back that debris and see a precious child laying there. It's so traumatic for these guys.
I bet. And as the saying goes, the worst of times often brings out the best in people. We have no doubt seen that again here in Texas. How has it been for you to see so many people come together and help in this moment?
We have hundreds and hundreds of volunteers coming out at the volunteer fire station here. There's people coming from all over the nation bringing in supplies. I have been with 3 families that have loved ones that are still missing, and we have been working with those families every day, being there with them. And you got to also remember, funerals are about to start up. That's another emotional plane that they're going to be going through.
I'm sure you have seen so much and talked to so many in their darkest hour. Are there any images or moments in particular that you feel are really perhaps will stay with you?
I can remember every disaster, every family I've cried with. It doesn't leave.
Yeah.
These rescuers remember every body they recover. They go home, try to sleep. Those images are still there. So yes, ma'am, those images are there. But we, as chaplains and first responder rescuers, we're willing to take that emotional toll and physical toll to help these families and bring them peace.
And you're doing God's work there, such important work with the Cajun Navy. How are you holding up? How do you manage to try to stay so strong?
I was with one of the families today, and we had a hug and cry session. We were just holding each other, hugging each other, and crying, because God made tears to be medicine for our soul. And my best advice is don't hold back those tears, because that is God's medicine for your soul, and it will help you emotionally. And that's what we do. And so emotionally, we just hold on to each other, pray with each other, and cry with each other.
In terms of the search and recovery efforts, we still have many days ahead of us. Dozens of people are still missing, and it probably will be a long time to get back to any semblance of normalcy there. What do you say to those who are watching at home and wondering how they can help right now?
The number one thing is what the mayor here has said every day. We need your prayers. We need you on your knees every night praying for this community, for these families. That is so important. These families see, like on social media, that they look at that how many people are praying for them and giving them support spiritually as that aspect, because that is their hope in Christ, through the strength of the Holy Spirit, reaching out for that spiritual support. And that's so important for the community and the nation. Keep praying for these folks, please.
And what a blessing you are, Chaplain Tony Dickey, to not only those families, but all of us. We can only imagine just how much of a benefit it is for the release of those crying and hug sessions. We thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Just hours after President Trump lashed out at Vladimir Putin, Russia launched the largest airstrike on Ukraine since the start of the war. The president is now saying that he's considering sending even more weapons to Ukraine. Here's our senior political correspondent, Rachel Scott.
Just hours after President Trump railed against Vladimir Putin, saying he's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless, the Russian leader unleashing his largest aerial assault yet on Ukraine, firing more than 700 drones into the country. It comes as Trump makes it clear his patience with Putin is wearing thin.
We get a lot of thrown at us by Putin, for you want to know the truth. He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
The administration now resuming weapons shipments to Ukraine, shipments the Pentagon put on pause last week. The president has insisted he didn't know who ordered the pause.
Yesterday, you said that you were not sure who ordered the munitions halted to Ukraine. Have you since been able to figure that out?
Well, I haven't thought about it because we're looking at Ukraine right now and munitions, but I have not gone into it.
President Trump today saying he's now considering sending even more weapons to Ukraine, including granting their request for another Patriot air defense system.
When you talk about a system like that, highly sophisticated, tremendous amount of money, and they're doing it because they want to prevent death. They're getting hit hard, very hard. So we're looking at it.
Our thanks to Rachel. President Trump today also announced that he is adding more countries to the list of those facing new tariffs at the end of the month. The president posted several new trade letters online and said that he'll impose tariffs on 6 more countries beginning August 1st. The list includes 30% tariffs on Algeria, Iraq, and Libya, and 20% tariffs on the Philippines. He said that the rates were calculated based on, quote, common sense. Now to the mystery homicide investigation in Maine. A paddleboarder was found dead on a remote island. Police are trying to figure out what happened and who's responsible. Here's Matt Rivers.
Tonight, the search for a suspected killer after the death of a Maine paddleboarder. The body of 48-year-old Sunshine Sonny Stewart was found under unusual circumstances in this rural area east of Augusta, according to officials familiar with the investigation. Stewart reported missing after she went out paddleboarding alone on Crawford Pond last Wednesday.
Last seen wearing a blue dry pack, a light-colored shirt. She is very experienced on the water with a paddleboard.
Police say her body was found the next morning near 100 Acre Island, which is only accessible by boat. The coroner later ruling her death a homicide. No suspects identified so far.
When you have a case where you don't know who committed this act, things that are found on her, near her, etc., may give the police some clues.
Stewart was working as a contractor and had previously been a marine biologist, lobsterman, and boat captain. Her sister saying anyone blessed to be in her presence was in awe of her. Now we have to rally and give her justice.
And Matt Rivers joins us now. Matt, what comes next in this rather disturbing case?
Linsey, there's not a lot of details so far that police are providing. What they are saying is that there is still a suspect out there, obviously. They haven't identified if they have really had any leads on who that person might be. But in the meantime, they're telling people stay vigilant and report any suspicious activity. Linsey?
All right, Matt, thank you so much. The CEO of the social media platform X said that she is resigning after 2 years with the company. Linda Yaccarino announced her departure in a post on the platform, calling her time at the company the opportunity of a lifetime. Her exit comes a day after AI chatbot Grok began pushing anti-Semitic tropes, although it's unclear if that was part of the reason for her departure. Elon Musk said to Yaccarino on X, "Thank you for your contributions." Coming up, the urgent recall of boxes of certain Ritz cracker sandwiches. Some individual packages labeled cheese-flavored may actually contain peanut butter. And we're in the middle of Amazon Prime Day 2025. We'll show you some of the hottest deals so far and tell you when to be on the lookout for even better deals on competing websites. ABC's consumer correspondent Becky Worley will be here with all the important advice. Welcome back, everyone. It's Amazon's biggest event of the year, and it only gets bigger. Talking about Prime Day, of course, and its impact can even be felt outside of the wildly popular shopping site. We take a look at the Prime effect by the numbers. Here's a massive figure. Consumers spent $7.9 billion across online retailers just yesterday alone. That's a 9.9% growth year over year. People have already spent more money than they did on Thanksgiving last year. And online spending is on track to be bigger than 2 Black Friday days of shopping combined. The biggest increase, appliances, which increased 135% compared to average daily sales last month. Meanwhile, there's a 95% rise in electronic spending, and more people are looking to do some work around the house with an 85% increase in home improvement sales. People are also spending more with a 20% increase on high-ticket purchases across all categories tracked by Adobe compared to last year. And if you're looking to spend some money on Prime deals this year, there are some caveats. ABC News consumer correspondent Becky Worley in the house. How's it going, Becky?
Linsey, I'm shopping like crazy, probably like the rest of you from all those numbers.
So break down what deals are live now and how it all works.
Okay, so the first thing you need to know is that Prime Day is for Prime members only. You can join at Amazon for $14.99 a month, or pro tip, sign up for the free 30-day membership. Just remember to cancel it. Now, how the sale itself works, it's not like other sales on other sites where they drop all the deals at once. Amazon sets different deals in motion each day, sometimes each hour. And when they sell out, those deals are done. Today, I saw some of the hottest deals going in a couple of hours. But deals that are live now that I really like. Bose wireless noise canceling headphones, they were $349. Now they're $199. The Ring battery doorbell camera was $99. Now it's $49. We saw really big sales of security gear on the first day. The Arctic soft cooler was $104. Now it's $79. And a weighted vest that was $78 is now just $58. So those are pretty good discounts, Lindsay.
So many bargains to be had. It seems like a little strategy can help you maximize the savings. So what are some of your biggest Prime Day hacks?
Okay, so first off, price compare. I've got 2 tips here. Price compare is number 1. It's not just Amazon with deals. Target, Walmart, and many others are competing for your consumer dollars. I've even seen local places putting on sales to compete. So this is also a great time to use a price comparison tool for your online shopping like Google Shopping, or there's a browser extension which goes into your Chrome browser called Honey. You can get that at joinhoney.com. And those two will compare prices all across the internet. Next, you want to stock up to save. Think about the things that you buy regularly. Have they been discounted? Well, an easy way to find out is go to your own Amazon account and click Orders. You'll see a tab called Buy Again. In the Buy Again tab, you're going to see listings of your most recent and common purchases. And if it's on sale right now, it's going to have a little red tag on it, and it'll show the discount. So if possible, stock up to save. Why pay more later when you can get it at a discount now? So those are 2 of my big tips, and I just wish everyone a happy Prime Day. It's like it's become a holiday.
Just brilliant tips there, helping us all save some money and keep it in our pockets. We mentioned earlier the increase in categories like appliances and electronics, plus Adobe saw 190% spike in back-to-school shopping. Can't believe that we're already there, but is this a good time to get deals on items under those categories, or should we be looking for something else?
You know, I often say, well, you can buy on Prom Day or you can buy during the back to school sales, but there's a little bit of a wild card here, and that's tariffs. We've already seen an increase across the board on prices, and some of those that are seeing the biggest price increases are office and school supplies and electronics like printers and computers. So it's possible those tariffs continue to inch the prices up, and I think that makes a good case for buying now if you can do it.
Oh, Becky, you're back on. I was seeing if I should buy some Amazon stuff over here on the computer. Becky, thank you. Thank you so much.
Shop away.
Coming up, many people tout the benefits of the weight loss effects of Ozempic and other GLP-1s, but what happens when they stop using these medications? One reality star tells her story. And welcome to the new Barbie. How Mattel says this version will allow more children to see themselves in the doll. Welcome back, everyone. Real housewife Dolores Catania has been honest since the beginning about using GLP-1 medications on her weight loss journey. Now she's opening up about what happened when she went full stop, why she decided to go back, and hard lessons she says she learned along the way. Nightline co-anchor Juju Chang has her story.
So we have our meats, salad, tomatoes. That's enough.
That'll
beautiful. Last us days.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's streamlined.
And then a lot of vegetables.
There's the medication. That's hilarious. I didn't even think about that.
That is a supply that you wish you had.
That's amazing.
It's a peek inside Dolores Catania's not-so-secret weight loss journey. The Real Housewives of New Jersey star.
You're a crazy scumbag. 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 Welcome back, scumbag.
Always keeping it unapologetically real. Causing a social media stir in 2023 after candidly sharing her experience with GLP-1s on Watch What Happens Live.
How long have you been on the Ozempic?
6 weeks. I didn't know everyone was lying about it and not telling the truth, and I got really hammered by it. There was such shame in taking this in the beginning. Such shame. I just felt amazing. I had lost I want to say 10 pounds right away, not even noticing, didn't expect to lose weight.
Did you do this or did he do this?
Over time, she lost 30 pounds on the weight loss drugs. Dolores invited us into her New Jersey home, which she shares with her boyfriend, Paulie Connell. Dolores says they took the shots together.
Paul Connell. Paul Connell.
He's on Mounjaro. He loves it. He lost 50 pounds.
No way.
And changed their eating habits.
We use this kitchen a lot more now. We used to go out to eat a lot, and much more healthier lifestyle. Cooking at home is the healthiest choices.
Now, in a post-Ozempic world, comes a serious look at the realities of life after GLP-1. After hitting a wall with her weight loss, Dolores says she stopped GLP-1s altogether, but that came with some extra baggage.
I recently felt like it kind of like I hit a plateau. And I said, well, geez, I'm not losing any more weight. What's going on?
So
cold turkey went off it.
What happened when you cold turkeyed?
I started to eat a lot. There wasn't that little signal. I call it the angel and the devil on your shoulder, because it wasn't that little angel on my shoulder saying you're full. You could stop eating now. I gained like 10 pounds. So in that time, I realized that I think my relationship with food needs a lot more than this miracle drug.
Dolores says she started her GLP-1 journey on Ozempic, but eventually switched to Mounjaro, a different brand covered by her insurance. That journey, now one she expects to be on forever.
I think it's so important for me to be transparent about what I take, what I do, what I've done, because I don't want people to have unrealistic expectations of what someone should look like.
In less than a decade, the class of drugs commonly known as GLP-1s revolutionizing the beauty and wellness industries. GLP-1 medications like Ozempic and Mounjaro have skyrocketed in popularity.
They were first FDA approved, of course, just for diabetes, but we realized that they could safely be used for weight loss.
The newer brands like Wegovy and Zepbound are prescribed specifically for weight loss. Celebrities like Oprah openly discussing her GLP-1 journey on her podcast.
All these years, I thought that thin people, those people, had more willpower, they ate better food. And then I realized the very first time I took the GLP-1 that, they're not even thinking about it.
Kathy Bates telling People magazine Ozempic helped her lose the last 20 pounds of her 100-pound weight loss.
When Ozempic came out, I thought, okay, and I went to my doctor. She said, let's give this a go.
With millions of Americans now on GLP-1s, doctors and patients alike are taking a serious look at the long-term effects for some.
I started treatment with 170 pounds, and now I'm 118. Whatever you think we can do to make it better.
Jessica says she's still taking a GLP-1 to maintain the progress she's made after a lifetime of food issues. But for her, loose skin became a new hurdle.
Once I lost weight and I started noticing a little, the face is a little different. I lost a lot of weight in my face.
With more than 50 pounds lost, Jessica says she saw considerable volume loss in her face.
I don't think I feel good. I think my skin or my face is a little, feel a little melting. I want to do fillers. I want to do a little Botox.
Hi, how are you?
How are you? Jessica.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Pleasure. We do see dramatic hollowness of this area in the middle of the face, in the temple, in the forehead, also on the lateral face along the jawline. We see flattening and lowering of the brow as patients lose the volume in their foreheads.
I'm 38, and then I felt, okay, so now maybe that's the time for me to start feeling better, why not? Some people say, maybe you're a little too skinny, but I'm feeling good. And this is what really matters for me.
And 62% of GLP-1 patients identifying saggy skin as their top post-weight loss concern, specifically around the face and neck. Jessica's looking to injectable facial fillers to restore lost volume.
I think everything has a limit. For weight loss or for changing your face, you have to feel good, but you also have to learn when it's time to stop.
Dolores says she didn't experience any facial hollowing.
I didn't get that, but I had a facelift, so.
This is why we love you, Dolores, because you're real. And you share things like your weight loss yo-yo journey.
Oh, yeah.
And your cosmetic surgery.
It's true, I do share that. I'm so grateful to the people that watch the show who make us who we are and make it the success that it is. They deserve the truth from me.
After stopping GLPs for 3 months and regaining weight, Dolores is back on the medication. She says she's already down 10 pounds once again.
So when I prescribe the medication, I always tell patients this is just a small part of your treatment. So it is so important to still, talk about the strength training, to talk about the aerobic exercise, to make sure patients are having the right macronutrients.
Doctors say when taking a GLP-1, side effects are to be expected. The NIH reporting nearly 80% of patients experience some form of gastrointestinal disturbance.
So when patients take their first injection, sometimes we see constipation, nausea, burping, reflux.
I know that when the GLP-1 nausea kicked in, that meant I had eaten too much. So now I finally learned how to eat.
Masterfully balancing truth and deception, Dolores winning more than $50,000 on the hit competitive murder mystery game show, The Traitors.
I am the faithful.
She says she left the castle with cash and a tighter waistline from healthy food.
When I went to Traitors, I was in Scotland for over a month. I came back the healthiest, the happiest. I was the thinnest. I did bring my GLP-1 there, but the food was so clean. I really believe that what we put into our bodies is much scarier than what we're taking in a GLP-1.
Do you worry that therefore you have to be on these medications for the rest of your life?
I'm not worried because I'm not against them. I want to take it forever. If I couldn't take it forever, at least I know now I'm more educated in the things that I don't need in my body, all the sugar.
I mean, because there are some people who think like, I'm not injecting something in my body. You never know what the long-term, impact might be. What do you say?
Well, I say this has been around long enough for them to know. I believe that's what I've been told by very credible doctors. You just, at this point, you just have to go with what you feel is good for you.
A good conversation there. Thanks to Juju for that. Coming up, the U.S. is experiencing the highest number of measles cases in more than 3 decades. What the CDC is saying about the outbreak. And singer Rita Ora reflects on her career, her new single, and talks about how she's broken societal norms in her personal life. Six Secret Service agents have been issued suspensions for failures connected to last year's attempted assassination of then-candidate Donald Trump. The move comes 4 days before the anniversary of the incident which killed a firefighter in the stands. The gunman was killed on site by a sharpshooter. Investigations after the shooting showed a series of law enforcement breakdowns that left Trump vulnerable. An urgent recall of Ritz cracker sandwiches, some labeled cheese flavors, but may contain peanut butter. Mattel introduces a Barbie with type 1 diabetes. A toy insulin pump is included. And Major League Baseball's All-Star game next week will allow teams to challenge balls and strikes. These stories and more in tonight's rundown. An urgent recall was issued for Ritz cracker sandwiches that may have been mislabeled. The FDA said Mondelez Global was voluntarily recalling 4 carton sizes of Ritz peanut butter cracker sandwiches with individually wrapped packs inside that may have been incorrectly labeled as cheese flavored. The FDA said consuming the mislabeled packs could pose a serious or life-threatening risk for those with an allergy or sensitivity to peanuts. The other cartons in the recall were correctly labeled and had advisories about containing peanuts. Mattel has introduced a Barbie doll with type 1 diabetes. The new doll was created in partnership with the diabetes organization Breakthrough T1D and comes with her own continuous glucose monitor, insulin pump, and a blue polka-dotted dress that nods to symbols representing diabetes awareness. Mattel said the new dolls would allow more children to see themselves reflected in Barbie. Red Bull fired its Formula One team principal Christian Horner after 20 years. The company thanked Horner for his time with Red Bull Racing, but did not give a specific reason for his firing. Horner had led the team since they first entered Formula One, overseeing a highly successful run with 8 drivers' championships and 6 constructors' championships. But his firing comes as a number of executives have left the team over the past year and a half, and with Red Bull Racing struggling so far this year. The United States has seen the highest number of measles cases in more than 3 decades. The CDC says that there have been 1,288 confirmed cases across 38 states, the most since 1992, adding that 92% of the confirmed cases were among people who were unvaccinated or whose vaccination status was unknown. A tentative agreement was reached in Philadelphia to end a strike that halted trash pickup and other services across the city for just over a week. Mayor Sherelle Parker announced the agreement with District Council 33 of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. 10,000 workers from the union had gone on strike July 1st. A new contract is pending ratification from the union's members. Parker said while many workers would be back on the job Wednesday, trash pickup would not resume again until Monday. Major League Baseball is bringing its newest challenge system to the All-Star Game in Atlanta next week. ESPN reports that the automated ball strike system has been added to Tuesday's game after being tested in the minor leagues and spring training in recent years. The system allows each team 2 chances to challenge a ball or strike call that they disagree with. An animated version of the pitch is then shown on the scoreboard, allowing the umpire to uphold or reverse the call. The league is expected to meet later this summer to decide if the system will be instituted next season. Prime Playlist Shuffle, where we sit down with artists who are transforming the music industry. With 3 big studio albums, one of them certified platinum, singer-songwriter Rita Ora has spawned 13 top UK singles and 4 UK #1 singles. She's also a multi-talented actress and fashion designer. But now, just in time for summer, she's turning up the heat, debuting a new single, her first new music this year. Let's take a listen.
Your heat.
Our Ike Ajachi sat down with Rita Ora today.
All right, Rita Ora, welcome. Thank you for coming here to ABC News Live. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you for having me. I love being here. So.
Yes. Now, we just heard your song Heat, which you dropped last month when you performed at the World Pride Music Festival in DC. So why choose that venue to introduce new music?
Well, that community is my family, and World Pride is something I believe should be every single day. And I have this just sort of unspoken responsibility to always just be present for the community that has supported me since the beginning of time. It was actually interesting because in that specific video that you're watching, the music cut out because all the stuff was too hot, like all the computers and the instruments and things. So I actually sang it a cappella, which in all honesty, worked in my favor because I was able to sing and connect with my fans, and it was a brand new song, and everybody was like, good for you for not stopping. And yeah, it was a pretty emotional moment. But this whole project feels pretty emotional, and I'm really excited to present it to the world.
Absolutely. Now, you didn't just shoot the video for this song on any beach. You shot it on Miami Beach.
I know. Iconic.
Right. So how come? Why choose Miami Beach?
So I was actually in the middle of a tour. I was touring with another icon, Kylie Minogue, and we were in Miami. I genuinely didn't have a lot of time to do my music video. I wanted it to feel really exclusive, but also like an invite to anyone, anything, any age bracket. Like there's no judgment. It's all about you feeling free. This was an opening to a bigger project for my album, and I love the idea of taking, making, we say taking the mickey out of myself, and also like making the most out of people and body shapes and alcohol and margaritas, even though it's got my name in it, and just like having fun,
Absolutely. That's a scene I definitely want to see myself in.
Yeah, it's fun.
Now, I want to take it back a little bit. Your journey began in Kosovo and London, and let's be honest, now you're a global pop icon. So how do your roots continue to influence your artistry and even your perspectives moving forward?
Oh, I can talk about this forever. I think I never forget where I'm from. I think first and foremost, when I came out over a decade ago, I was always very vocal about my immigrant background, my refugee family, and how much that means to me and being able to have access to such incredible things to achieve my dreams. I think when I'm making music, it's so important to try and stay real and true to who I am. And so that's kind of why I've always been so proud of my background.
Now, Rita, you've made headlines breaking societal norms of sorts when you proposed to your now husband, famed filmmaker Taika Waititi.
I know. It got so much press.
A lot of press.
I mean,
it's getting press right now as we speak.
It's so interesting because in my world, I just feel like it's such a norm. Like the fact that that can happen from both sides, from a woman's perspective and getting into my power. Like I didn't even think about it like that. I just wanted to lock him down. Like literally it was that simple. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take matter into my own hands. But with that, yeah, it was really nerve-wracking. But I had a great time, and that was my best friend and still is. And I don't know, I guess I didn't think of it like that until now. People are like, whoa.
Right,
but
right.
I still feel like it should just be normalized because we're just as powerful as, I would say, like the traditional man proposing to a woman. I personally don't see the difference.
Now, you've also teased an upcoming 4th studio album and a U.S. tour. So what should fans expect from this new era of music from you?
A lot of honesty, a genuine connection to my sexuality, my womanhood, like what it means to make music in my mid-30s at the moment. I started when I was sort of 20, and I'm so lucky to still be able to do what I love. I'm so grateful, but with that comes a lot of truth and self-recognition, and it's almost like, who am I right now? Like, who am I to the world? And building a language with my fans is so important.
Rita Ora, thank you so much. And you can catch and listen to Rita Ora's new single, Heat, wherever you stream your music, and catch her live headlining a free concert at Brooklyn Bridge Park this Friday, July 11th.
Our thanks to Ike for that conversation. That is our show for this hour. I'm Linsey Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us.